And we grew up in a pretty idyllic town. And maybe we can sort of get into a conversation about politics from this. I loved my upbringing. My mom stayed at home. My dad was working. We're in a mostly white suburb in Chicago. Everybody was maybe half Catholic, half Protestant. It was a baseball town. I played baseball for many years. In Chicago, we love our hot dogs. We have our baseball parade and get a hot dog. And so I love where I came from. I love the city. It's a working class city. I love the people here. They're very good, humble, down to earth, decent people. And I guess I had my political, not to jump ahead, but this is a big part of where my political awakening came from. I sort of left this bubble, if you could call it that. When I went to college in 2016, I went to Boston University, and I read a lot of things online, and I realized the country does not look like LaGrange Park. It doesn't look like Western Springs or Hinsdale or Elmhurst. It looks very different. The country's undergoing a radical transformation because of immigration. And
Well, it sounds a little bit unusual saying that you went to Boston and you didn't realize that the rest of the country is not like your little picket white fence, white suburb. The race, like the skin color, does not make you a Christian. It's your values. Because he's almost making it seem like these white Americans are actual Christians and like nobody else is. Everybody else that's coming is just other races. You know, like white can only be Christian. There's plenty of black Christians, Latino Christians. There's all types of Catholic and Christians, like everywhere, all types of races. Religion is not about a race because God created all of us. So if you are religious, that's the first thing you are not is racist, right? You cannot hate God's creation. I mean, that would go against God, right? That would go against your beliefs if you are religious. Now, if you're not religious, then, you obviously you can do whatever you feel like. But as a religious person, you cannot hate another person because of their anything, literally anything, because it's God's creation. So you can't harm them. You can disagree, but you can't harm them. You cannot want them in your neighborhood. But let's continue, because I'm about to break something down to you guys that you guys are going to love, okay? Because I've been watching a lot. I've been watching Nick Fuentes. I've been watching this clown Piers Morgan for a long time. He's super censored. But I love his view, and not that I agree with his view. I disagree with everything he ever says for the most part, right? Except for when he agrees with not killing people. I do agree with him on that. But he comes from a very leftist side. I know he claims that he's very right and he's, pro-Trump and didn't really like Biden, but his mind state is very leftist. He's a very leftist type of mind, right? I know leftist minds, and this man is a leftist mind. I don't care what he's telling you. He's a left, okay? Not that it matters if you left or right anyways, because you shouldn't follow your party blind anyways. Because some of the things that these parties are doing, not even their own members are agreeing with it. In my opinion, I don't think you should follow any party blindly. I think you should question all of them and definitely roll with the one you're going with, but question them and not them just going against everything you have said except for one thing and you follow everything that they're doing. I'm going to give you an example. Like, let's say the left goes like, we're going to bring the taxes down. And you're like, I'm voting for left. I'm voting for Kamala Harris. Like, I'm voting for her because she says she's going to bring the taxes down. But you don't know what else she's doing. She could be selling America to China for all you know, right? Like, I'm not saying that's even possible. I'm just saying, like, you don't know what they actually are doing, like what the party is actually doing. You might agree with a few things, but you can't agree with everything they say. There's no way you agree with everything they say. There's no way in the world you know all the policies of your respected party. There's no way you know that. There's no way in the world. What I want for Americans and for America is to have a nationalist president, like nationalist government, basically. I want the government to love their country. Because when you love your country, when you love your family, you will do whatever it takes when you lead in your family to put your family in the best position possible because you love them. Now, if you don't love your country and you love money, then the globalists, the elites, is going to come in real quickly. They're going to buy you right off and you'll be out of here. You know what I mean? Because they don't care about national. They don't care about nations. They don't care if your nations goes down or don't go down. They are controlling the nations through the governments, through the secret intel and everything else. That's how they control everything. It's the money. The money buys these politicians. Now they sitting up there and they talk real nice, like J.D. Vance. He talks really nice, but does he really know what's going on in Gaza? Does he really know? Does he really know what's going on in the West Bank? And I know you guys might go like, that's none of our business. We are talking America. And when we talking America first, we talking America first. Yes, America first. Why is our tax money going over there? Let's stop all aid. Right? America first, right? Stop all aid. I don't want to help nobody. I don't care if they starving. I don't care if they dying. I don't care what they going through. Stop giving our money to other countries. You decided to give them money. None of us decided that. None of us taxpayers decided for you to give money to Israel or any other country or Ukraine or wherever. Wherever you create wars and steal that money and put it back in your pocket or whatever they pay you for, that's what you're doing. So what I'm saying is, overall, let me not lose you, all right? Our governments have been bought, okay? There's no argument about that. I don't know how you're going to convince me any otherwise. I mean, these guys, they move exactly how they told to move. Look at Trump. Every time you hear Trump, and I might have Trump over here a lot, right? I used to like Trump. I used to like him because I thought he was funny, and I thought he was like a little bit more honest than the rest. I didn't think he was just the most honest man on earth. I knew he was a scumbag for sure. Come on. You don't get up there without being a scumbag. You got to be a scumbag to be with the scumbags up there. But anyways, regardless of that, and I'll take that back, okay? I don't want to offend anybody, but Trump sounded more honest than his competition. Basically, to me, his competition sounded so fake, I couldn't go for them, right? So I was leaning more towards Trump, but I knew better than to vote. All right, I've never voted. I don't want to be responsible. Listen, every president you are voting, these are killers. They are ordering deaths, okay? And I'm not going to be responsible for that. When I go see God, right? Because all you Christians out here, right? Like you all Christians, right? When we go see God, how are we going to explain that we voted for a man who killed millions of people? How do we explain to God that we voted for this orange man to go over there and literally help this superpower destroy these innocent, like, well, I don't know if they're innocent or not, but they have no weapons. They have no means of fighting you back, and you are just killing them and ethnically cleansing them out of there because you want to you don't want to occupy it, you want to take over the land, right? You're already occupying it, but you want to take over the land, right? And for our president to be threatening the people, 2 million, just imagine 2 million, right? 2 million. That's like New York has way more people than that. Just New York City alone, let alone the rest of New York. So this is a very small place. 2 million is very small. So to kill over 20,000 children of 2 million people and the most journalists and the most medics in history of warfare, something is wrong. And why are we supporting it? I do not know. I know one thing for certain. I don't want nobody to get hurt. I don't want nobody touched. I don't want nothing. I don't want the Charlie Kirk situation, disgusting. JFK, disgusting. And not that I'm comparing the two. It's just, it is nasty to see it. It's just nasty because you know he has children, you know he has a wife, and you taking this man from his family. Why? And how many men are being taken from their families in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Ukraine? How many mothers are being taken from their children? How many children are being taken from their mothers and fathers? I mean, just think about it. These are humans. They breed like you. They have sisters and brothers and cousins just like you, uncles, aunties, all of that, just like you, mother, father. You have to have some mercy. You can't just go like, okay, they did October 7th. Now we are going to lay them flat. We told them don't ever fucking try that dumb shit. And they tried the dumbest ever. We need to kill them all. There's no innocence in there. There's no innocence in there? What you talking about? No innocence? Out of 2 million people? How many people came to the border? that you didn't freaking answer for over 6 hours? You said 3,000? 3,000? What percentage is that of a 2 million? Does that make sense? Logically, does that make sense? To hate 2 million people for the works of 3,000 people. And for our president to have the nerve to go like, well, they better do this or all hell is going to break loose. What do you mean all hell is going to break loose? You have killed over 20,000 children. What hell are you talking about, bro? This has been hell from the start. I don't know what other hell are you threatening with, and why are you threatening so much? You stay threatening Iran, and I swear to God, every single time we have heard the Iran president or leader or anything coming from Iran, they have said that they're not pursuing no nuclear weapons. They don't want no war. They don't want to be attacked. They don't want to attack. Why we keep talking to them like they are this big enemy? They want to work with us, and we not working with them. Why? Because our little Chihuahua over here don't like them. Israel don't like them. Our little dog doesn't like them. Our little dog is shitting on their yard on a daily basis. Is that what it is? So we're not going to be friends with anybody Israel don't want to be friends with. And Israel is absolutely friends with nobody. They occupied basically all of Western Europe, okay? They got UK in the pocket. The US obviously in the pocket. France obviously in the pocket. Spain obviously in the pocket. Okay, even Italy, even any of these countries. Listen, they might talk here and there, like Monroe, the French guy, right? Let's talk about the leader of France. He said that he was gonna recognize Palestine, right? And a bunch of other countries recognized Palestine. What was it, back in September or something like that? Right. What has happened since then? Nothing. These guys have been violating every ceasefire possible. They've been stopping aid. They've been stopping different Doctors Without Borders and aids like that. And that affects the 2 million people living there. And everybody in that 2 million people, the outside claim is that they just want to get out. It's just none of these other countries want them. That is the most dumbest and misleading propaganda that is out there right now. Just out there right now. Because these people have lost children, fathers, mothers, cousins, families, 50 members of a family sometimes, right? Just horrific, just stuff that you can't even imagine. This stuff happening to us, we would kill ourselves. You know, we wouldn't be able to continue no more. 50 members of my family, a doctor said. 50 members of my family? I would hate you forever. Yo, I will never forgive you. There's no God that will ever turn me to forgive you. 50 of my family members? You take one of mine, and I don't know if I can forgive you, but you take 50 of mine. I will never forgive you, ever. And this is true human, right? And I'm one of the kindest people on earth. I don't want to hurt a soul. I don't even hurt ants. Right? I don't want to hurt anything that God has created because I don't want to be in trouble when I get up there. Right? When my time comes, I want to have a nice conversation. I don't want to have to explain all this stuff, you know? And I don't want to explain why I took a life. That's crazy. But you take 50 of one family. That's crazy. That's insane. So when they say these 2 million people want to get out, it's just they never been given the chance. That's such bull crap. What are you talking about? You've been trying to push them out. You've been trying to make life hell for them since the very, very beginning. And you know they won't leave their home. You know they won't leave their home. You could barely even get the Israel that you got right now, right? Because they barely wanted to leave then. Now, the little space that's left on the West Bank and the little tiny little place in Gaza, which have become so far from each other, which is kind of crazy. It's the same people, their country, and they can't even see each other because they're occupied by this new regime, this new colonizer that came in out of nowhere, claiming that 3,000 years ago, God promised me something. Yo, how about I tell you that 10,000 years ago, God promised me something? How could you prove me wrong? You can't. You can't prove yourself right neither. Oh, it's in the book. It's in the scriptures. We never seen God write anything. But to say that the population of 2 million people just want to get out and nobody has allowed them to get out since 1948, it just sounds like a lie. There's no way in the world. They didn't want to leave for 78 years. They didn't want to leave their home for 78 years. And now all of a sudden they're like, I'm so tired of this home. That's what you want. That's what you think you are accomplishing. So you're telling the world that that's what it is. But that's not it. That's why you make it so hell for them. Because you trying to make it so unbearable that they will leave by choice. And you are so mad because they won't, right? They rather die than leave their home. That's how nations be like. That's a real nation. You guys would have known that, right, Israel? You would have known that. You don't know what the fuck that is. Fucking globalists. I love Jewish people, okay? I love Judaism. You know why I like Judaism? Because it says in it that you should treat others the way you want to be treated. Israel, do you want to fucking be treated the way you fucking treating the Palestinians? Do you? Do you? It's a pretty good question, right? Anyways, Israel is a Zionist project. It's not a Jewish project, okay? So get that out of your head. It's not Judaism. It's not Jews. I love Jews, okay? Jews are my buddies, all right? Zionist. That's a big difference, okay? You got Christian Zionists, too. And they believe that the chosen people should have it all, which is weird. Anyways, I don't know why I went into Gaza, but I had to spell that real quick. But we about to get into the race debate with this guy.
I saw that and I said, this is not really a desirable change. I don't like the south side of Chicago or the west side or LA or certain parts of Boston as much as I like where I came from. And I guess that's what made me an American nationalist. I said, I want to preserve my home and the things that are familiar to me and the things I like about my home, what makes it America. So that's a little bit about my background. I don't know where you want to go with that, but
well, I suppose my first obvious question is, were your parents immigrants to the United States, or were their parents, or were their grandparents? In other words, at some stage, I presume, there were immigrants in your family who came to the US. Is that correct?
There were. I believe my mother was fourth generation and my father was third generation. So their ancestors came here on my mom's side in the 1860s, I believe, the first wave of Italian immigration. My father's ancestors, I think they came around the turn of the century in 1900.
So your view of immigration, and we'll get to the specifics about your views on immigration, are they not affected at all by the fact that if it wasn't for immigration, you wouldn't exist as an American?
That's true.
Well, I would certainly exist, but like you said, maybe not as an American. Certainly that's influenced in some measure. But I think that the kind of immigration that we had for a long time in the country, it's different than the immigration that we have now. And let's just say for openers, it's different immigrants. They're coming from a different place with a different culture, a different religion. It's not the same as it was. So first, you have a qualitative difference.
Okay. So he's talking about different immigrants are coming, right? Like different immigrants than back in the day. So he's saying non-Europeans are coming here. That's what he's saying. That's he's not saying it in those words, but that's what he's saying. Like, from Italy and France and obviously UK and stuff like that. From Europe is fine. Europeans are our values and they are Christians and they are Catholic and so forth. But anybody else. So he's talking about South America as well. So he's definitely going with the Hispanics, right? Which he's Mexican, which is kind of weird, right? He has Mexican ancestry, but that's kind of weird. But I know what he means right now. What he's saying is basically this type of immigration is different because they're coming from everywhere around the world, right? Africa, South America, everywhere. You know, it's not just Europe, right? Asia, everywhere. So what he's saying is when it used to be just European, they had the same values. They had the same Western values. Again, we going with the Western values. Your Western values. Your Western values. What kind of values do you have? I mean, you have colonized literally damn near the entire earth, right? What kind of values do you probably have? Like, I mean, I just don't understand the values you talking about. Like, are you talking about a value meal, my dog? Like, what values? How many regime change wars have we done? How many illegal wars have we gotten into? Right? Like, what are you talking about? Our CIA is one of the most criminal intelligence services in the entire world. They literally are running the European Commission, right? And the European Commission runs the European Parliament, and it's ran by the CIA, it's ran by the MI6, it's ran by these central banks, it's ran by these elites. It's the same. It's like nothing changes out here. It's the same thing. But this guy is separating people. He's saying that Europeans are better than the rest of the world, which is kind of crazy, man. Look at China, okay? You know why China is moving up in the world? The reason China economy has been rising is because they don't allow central banks, the bigger banks, to shut down the little local banks all across the place, right? They let all the local banks help the local places. It makes sense that way. But these big banks, they want to own everything. JP Morgan, BlackRock, and so forth. Like, they own pretty much everything you see for the most part, right? Like about 90% of anything you see in a Walmart, right? So they are shutting down these little banks so they can keep all the power. Which what they've been doing forever. The elite's been doing that since the very beginning. It's almost like a Zionist thing, really, you know, because the Zionists been doing that for generations. They've been keeping that money thingy going on for a long, long time, and now they're capitalizing with it, you know, and they're capitalizing on it. So I understand what he's talking about. He's talking about, specifically, he's talking about it's not just a European immigration anymore. It's a worldwide immigration now. So that's what he's trying to say, and that's where he's trying to go. So let's see. Let's continue.
For the most part, I have 3 European grandparents from Ireland and Italy, 1 from Mexico. They came from Europe. They came from a society where there's a common ancestry, there's a common religion, common civilization. The people that have come in since 65, since Hart-Celler, they're coming from China, India, the Northern Triangle, Mexico, Venezuela. And so first, they're just different people. Secondly, it's a quantitative difference. There's way more, and it's an unceasing, always increasing wave. For the first 3 or 4 waves of immigration, you would have a major influx of immigrants, and then it would stop. And then you'd have another wave, and then it would stop. This one, it just keeps going up for 35 years, and it's too many. So that's really where I would draw the distinction between maybe where I originate from. I would even just simply call that immigration. What this is an invasion. It's a completely different policy.
But you mentioned, all right, but you mentioned Mexico in that list, and your father is half Mexican. So,
yeah,
I mean, by your criteria, part of the invasion would include your father, presumably, and his descendants who came from Mexico.
Not really true, because when my father's ancestors came here, it was a small fraction of the immigrants that came from Mexico. I don't believe that we should have 0 immigrants forever, or even 0 immigrants from non-white countries. But you have to draw the distinction. My father's father, he was here in the 40s and 50s. It was his parents, or I believe either his parents or grandparents, that came here even earlier. Up until 1965, 90% of the immigrants were coming from Europe. I have no problem with that. If we have 10% of them coming from Mexico or Latin America, maybe that's reasonable, but that's not what it is now. Now you've got 10 million illegals in 4 years under Joe Biden, and you got millions more legal.
Okay, guys, there's no way, literally, there's no way in the world, okay? And you can look, go wherever you need to go. There's no way in the world that you can find out there is 10 million illegal immigrants. You don't know how many illegal immigrants. And the minute you find out, let's say you find 500 illegal immigrants in some neighborhood. Let's just say that, right? In his neighborhood, in his neck of the woods in Chicago. ICE goes over there and finds 500 illegal immigrants. Now, at this point, they're all illegal. I think, in my opinion, they're all broken the law, so they all should get deported, right? In my opinion. But America obviously has their laws. I don't know how they do it. As soon as they are captured, they become documented immigrants, all right? Because when you say illegal immigrants, you are being racist, right? It's a discriminative way of speaking about them, right? You're talking about undocumented or documented, right? The minute you are captured as an undocumented, as an illegal immigrant, you are documented, right? We know who you are now. We got you, right? So how would you know you got 10 million? And if you knew you had 10 million, why don't you go and document them? Are you telling me that our government knows there's 10 million and they know exactly where they are, but they won't get them? Or they think they're hiding somewhere. That's probably what it is, right? They think they're hiding somewhere. They think there's 10 million. I even heard Musk talk to Trump before he was elected a second term, and he was like, yeah, there's 15 million. Trump is like, yeah, there's probably even more. There's probably 18, 20 million. You guys are just throwing numbers out there. That is fake. Listen, my American people, honestly, you have to be smart, okay? Do not be dumb. Do not listen to this guy right here who thinks he's super smart because he got a tie on and he thinks he's talking fast and he thinks he's so smart he uses a few big words. There ain't nothing intelligent or brilliant about this knucklehead right here, okay? He wants America to go back to the 1960s. And you remember the 1960s, right? The civil rights movement. It wasn't that good for the black people, right? But he wants to bring it back there. He wants to bring it back there because back there it was different. And I know the difference he is looking for. And he's not wrong with the difference, okay? Because the difference back in the day is, even in the black community, the father and mothers used to be there, right? Nowadays, you have single mothers getting free housing, and if the father comes in the house, they lose their free housing. So that starts a war with them having control over the father having pride and so forth, as every father does. They don't want to deal with that, so they go about it. You see what I'm saying? It starts with breaking the family off the rip, by breaking up the mother with the father, right? Only the mother is allowed to have this home. There's no father that's allowed to have this home, right? So the father is not allowed in this home, and that's already created separation. And now you have all these kids being brought up by single mothers who sometimes have to work hella jobs. So the kids are in the streets, and they are learning criminal activity from the criminal streets. That doesn't mean that because they black, they doing that. It doesn't mean because they're Hispanic, they doing that. It doesn't mean because they white, they doing that. It means it's the environment and the culture and the tradition. Okay, and I understand, yes, the culture in the 1960s and before, I'm not talking about how it was for the black people. I understand it was awful for the black people during that time, during the civil rights movement. I understand it was awful, okay? And change needed to be made. Change needed to come, right? And it came, for certain. But this street mentality, it's not a black thing. It's not a Hispanic thing neither. What I'm saying, guys, is the race does not dictate who you're gonna be. It's the environment you grow up in. A lot of these young kids, if they were taught different, they wouldn't be as violent as they are out there. They wouldn't have to be packing at 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old. If they weren't in that environment, it's the environment that makes them have to have a gun. I have to have a legal gun because they're going to kill me if I don't. They already told me they're going to blast at me. They already told me they're going to slide on me. They already told me they're going to do that. So what am I going to do? Sit here and just die? Let my family get shot? Or do I go and get my revenge, get my lick back? Of course I get my lick back. Anybody would do that. Anybody would defend their family, their honor, and themselves, right? And these young kids are being brought up in this type of, I know the street mentality, okay? I know to be a real one, it takes a lot to be a real one. And a lot of people don't realize they're a fake one until they're in them cuffs, you know? When they're in them cuffs, everything changes. When they go like, oh, you facing 10, 15 years, boom, all your friends are getting told on. Every single one of them. You ain't taking that. You ain't taking that to the chin. They give you a life sentence. You definitely telling on everybody. And that's a guarantee, right? But in the streets, you tell, you dying, right? Usually. But I don't know nowadays. They're too soft nowadays. But back in the day, you tell, you done, right? So that mentality is what I'm talking about. It's that street mentality. That has no race, okay? The street mentality is just a vicious cycle. If you are brought up in the streets and the streets was really rugged like that, yes, the street rules will take you places. People will respect you because they're all in the same struggle. And they all got rules and they all follow those rules because they know they've been cheated on by everybody else. So it's the community that is really tight, right? That's how gangs are made. That's how the streets are, right? That street mentality comes to the suburbs sometimes through music. Now, I'm not saying to ban hip-hop music or any of that. What I'm saying is we need to teach our children okay? No matter what race you are, right? We need to teach our children to know the difference. To go like, this is what they teaching over here, and this is what happens to them over here. And this is where you want to go. You don't want to go this way because you see the consequences. You see what happens if you go that way. And that's how we need to take these kids back into our hands and not just leave them to the streets, because the streets been raising these children. And look how wild they got. You brought crack to the streets, they went crazy, right? Parents started forgetting about the children, all of that. Same thing now. You got the dope. Where did the dope come from, right? From 2003 until whenever they pulled out of Afghanistan, right? Those 20 years, for 20 years in Afghanistan, 90% of all dope came from Kabul. From Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan. I think it's the capital. But Kabul is in Afghanistan. 90% of the world's opiates was coming from there. Who was in charge? And I wonder why America would leave a place, and why the CIA decided to go like, you know what? We're not going to use America's military, our, bodyguards, to run this scam anymore because what? What happened? Oh, fentanyl. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You couldn't get it from there, right? And you can't go to China. You can't muscle China out of it, right? So what are you doing? You trying to blame Venezuela for it? Even though China is bringing the parts to make it, and Mexico is making it, Mexico is bringing it in. And listen, I love my Mexicanos, okay? I love my Mexicanos, okay? I got family blood with the Mexicans. So, listen, it ain't nothing about the Mexican, but they know what it is. They know what it is. We know what it is, right? So, basically, what I'm saying is, I feel like Nick over here feels like it's a race thingy, right? This race, they just don't know. Like this white race from Europe was just different. They have different tradition, different culture. Africa, they're all wild over there. You know what I'm saying? Asia, you never know. China, you can't trust them. India, you can't trust them. So to have an outlook on these different continents, these different peoples, and saying that, oh, I only want Europeans to immigrate over here. I don't want all these other immigration. I don't understand. And how would you know there's 10 million illegal or undocumented, it's the legal term, undocumented immigrants there is in the United States? How would you know? They're undocumented. Okay, their whole purpose is to stay away from you so you don't know who they are. And you try to tell me that you found 10 million of them and you haven't even pulled the trigger to do nothing about it yet? 10 million? Yo, how did you get that number? Please, somebody explain me. How do you get that number? Show in the comment section, please. Blow that comment section up, okay? Explain to me in detail. How you doing it? How do you find out? And when you do find out that you have these 10 million and you somehow figured out the math, right? And you found these undocumented aliens, right, in our country, then why haven't you done nothing about it? It's pretty simple, right? This man or this woman is undocumented. We got a hold of him. We document them, right? We figure out names. If they don't give us names, they don't give us. We put a name on them, right? And we send them back wherever they came from, right? If they don't want to give us names and stuff. But if they do give us names and they do give us a good reason why they're hiding, then America might reconsider that. I don't know if they will or not. Well, what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when you have a illegal immigrant or undocumented immigrant being known that he's here, right? The minute you know they're here, they document it. They documented that they're here. You know they're here. So you don't know. No 10 million illegal immigrants. You don't even know one illegal immigrant. You definitely not, Nick. You? I don't think you even got black friends, to be honest with you. Right? The way you talk, there's no way. I just don't see it. This is the thing about it, right? In the beginning of this, he said that, when I went to Boston and I seen south side of Chicago and Boston and so forth. It wasn't like my neighborhood. It wasn't like my neighborhood. And I want it back like my neighborhood. Bro, we are all brought up in different areas. Like, what are you talking about? Have you ever went to the Bronx before? Fuck you talking about, bro? Listen, if you go to the Bronx, sometimes you forget that you're even in America, okay? Because the Bronx, there's so much diversity in there. So much. I mean, I would say the majority speak Spanish. Yo, I know my Latinos and Latinas run that city, bro. Stop it, yo. All right, they don't run that city. Okay. Everybody runs that city. We run that city, son. Nah, but for real, like, imagine these racist bastards, right? They go into New York and they try to find South American people in there, right? Latinos and Latinas, right? They go in there to find them. And that's all they find. So what are you going to do? You going to take down that entire city? Millions and millions of Hispanics. You're going to take them all down and bring them to ICE and figure out what is what? I thought you already knew your 10 million. Why don't you go get your 10 million? Since you know you're 10 million, go get your 10 million. Stop bothering. They sent an American citizen back to El Salvador. God knows what happened to that kid. And I understand, you know, the new president over there, the new leader over there, he's doing this thing. He cleaned it all up. But, you know, with every cleanup, there's an issue, right? There's always going to be an issue, right? And the issue now is that a lot of people, after taking all the gangs out, right, now they are just claiming somebody as a gang because they had a dispute. So they go like, oh, they part of MS-13. So the police come and take them. Boom. It is true. Yes, he did clean up El Salvador. But what happens now? Are you taking innocent people in there? Because you taking them in there, and I understand you don't give them no trial, no time to get out, no nothing. You basically just going like, yo, you part of this gang, you are dead, basically. So we just going to hold you in there until you die off, right? Like, we're not even going to talk about you getting out. But the problem is when you have all these gang members and you took the whole gang down, now people are just having disputes with certain people, and they just going like, hey, they members. And boom, you taking them. You're not even checking. You're not even checking background because you're so used to just snatching them. So that's probably a big issue in El Salvador. I can almost imagine that happens already. Because I seen a few documentaries, and the prisoners we're talking about, we haven't seen nothing at all. We don't get to see the judge. We don't get to see nothing. And, you know, it's hard to feel bad for them because they, you know what I mean? They're MS-13 members, of course. Like, they evil as shit for the most part, right? So, yeah, I mean, most people will go like, yeah, that's great. It's great you in there. You don't get to see your family, you know what I mean? Because of what you did. But you can't just do that to everybody, though, right? I mean, in America, you can't even do it to gang members like that. But Trump would love to do that. What? Trump would love to be able to do something like that. He wants to, like, just... these guys are such criminals, yo. But anyways, listen, there's no way in the world that Nick or anybody in America knows how many illegal immigrants are in the United States. Undocumented immigrants, okay? Let's stop calling them illegals. Undocumented. And you know the people, they'd be like, well, you can go to Jersey, and if you are undocumented immigrant, you can just go get yourself a license and get yourself insurance. That's such bullshit. That's such bullshit. That's some Ben Shapiro shit, BS, right? Ben Shapiro shit. That's some bullshit, bro. That's some fucking bullshit. There's no way, because if that is the case, then that means that me and you, we can go over there and we can change our identity. We can go, hey, listen, man, my name is Jose Rodriguez. And my man's right here. He's Julio Sanchez. And we need IDs, and we need insurance. We need state insurance. And you try to tell me they just going to give it to us? With no proof of nothing. Oh, but this is how they know there's illegal immigrants. You sound dumb. You sound dumb. Like I told you, they are called undocumented, okay? Because we have no proof of them being here. We have no name, no social security, no nothing. Well, obviously no social security. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is we have no idea of them existing here. But yet you're saying there's 10 million of these guys. And yet you are saying that they can go to these states like Minnesota and New Jersey and they can just get IDs. Like, who the fuck told you that, bro? Listen, I understand you don't understand immigration because how would you, right? How would I understand immigration unless I studied immigration, obviously? But you as an American, you wouldn't know immigration. You wouldn't know how the fuck that works because you didn't come here as an immigrant, right? So you don't know about an undocumented, a documented, or asylum or refugee. You don't know about none of that, visas and all of that. You don't deal with that unless you go into a foreign country. And even most foreign countries love Americans, so like you don't even need visas for the most part as an American. But what I'm trying to say, guys, is there's no way in the world, no way, like there's not a chance in the world that you know there's any amount of, especially not no 10 million. All right? If you got 10 million undocumented immigrants and you know you do, then you should go to jail because you are letting 10 million people undocumented. That means there's 10 million people who are not registered to anybody. They could be doing anything to anybody. They almost like the CIA. Right? They just out here. Nobody knows they're out here. That sounds crazy. There's no way in the world that you give no goddamn IDs and freaking insurance for real. Like, I know Americans who don't get insurance. I know a veteran who served for 25 years. He doesn't even get dental insurance. But you know who gets a dental insurance? Yeah, you damn right. You damn right. Kevin at the low-income housing. He gets it all day, every day. Him, his children, you know what I mean? His girlfriends, everybody. You know, that the whole entire neighborhood gets it. But the veteran who risked his life and served for us for 25 years in the Navy, he doesn't get that. And that's what we need to focus on. Not this fake 10 million number. Immigration, for real? Immigration is your issue, bro? When was the last time an immigrant did something to you, yo? Tell me in the comment section. Last time an immigrant came and did something to you. Took your job, robbed you, did something foul to you, lied to you, did anything to you. Show me one illegal immigrant that did that to you. You don't even know one. There's no way you will know one. Because illegal immigrants do not want to be found. Fuck. Come on, man. Have some brains. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if you ran from prison. Let's say you escape prison. Now they're obviously looking for you everywhere. You could just go to New Jersey and get an illegal. Well, it wouldn't be an illegal, but you can get a license, right? You can get an ID and you can get insurance and you can get a new identity. And you never have to worry about them catching you ever again. As long as you don't put your fingerprints anywhere. Right? If they just giving it to anybody illegally, here you go, ID for you, ID, insurance for you. Okay, then why can't criminals do that? Why can't American criminals change their name? I used Kevin Durant way too freaking long. I need to switch this name to John Wilson. You know what I mean? Because Kevin over here has done so much damage. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to switch to this. So everybody, even Americans be doing that. If it was that easy, imagine you go get an ID. Tell me, as an American, what you have to do to get your ID. You have to bring your paperwork, your documents, right? Because you're a documented individual in the States, in the United States. So it sounds dumb when people like him who think they smart talk about this 10 million immigrants. Oh, 10 million illegal immigrants. So based off his illegal immigrant count, I don't even trust his math talking about since 1965. I would have to go through that myself and figure out what is what. But I know for a fact, when you are talking about undocumented immigrants, you are lying when you say you know 10 million. And if you know 10 million, Mr. President, you need to no stops anywhere, go straight to jail. Straight to jail. How dare you leave 10 million people we don't know undocumented in the United States? That's so scary for us. I would be terrified if that was if that could have been true. I'd be terrified right now. But I am not terrified at all. I don't think There's, listen, I'm not saying there's no illegal immigrants. I'm sure there's illegal immigrants, but nowhere near in the millions. I don't think so. There's no way in the world that many could survive out here without being documented at some point, right? Like, you can work under the table and all of that, but for how long can you do that, right? For how long can you do that? Something is going to happen at some point, right? You're going to have to, like, get into a car or maybe drive one day or something, right? You will never move forward in here. You will always have these garbage jobs under the table and being played all the time without papers. So no illegal immigrant, no undocumented immigrant wants to be an undocumented immigrant. None of them want to be that. None of them want to be that. They all want to come in here. They all want to be documented. They all want the citizenship just like me and you. That's exactly what they want, right? But the problem is, the immigration procedures need to be understood, right? We need to close the borders for sure. I say close the borders completely. Put all the money that we sent to Israel and Ukraine, take all that money, put it on our border for security, right? Let's build a border off of that. So we take Ukraine donations that we sent over there, the Israeli donations we sent over there. We take all of that money and we put it on our border over here. Secure the border. Now we have people come in and we want you to come to the door. We don't want you to climb out the window or any of these things. We want you to come to the front door. Come to the front door. We want to know who you are. And that's how you get it started, right? Now you have immigrants coming in, but they coming in legally. They checking in. Because they're not afraid that you're going to send them back, because you giving them the chance to speak their piece and explain why they should come in here. And if you feel hard enough, go like, okay, I feel like you threatened down there. Come on, as a refugee, I'll take you in. You seeking asylum, come in, right? You could do that. But when you know they're coming in. But when they illegals, they already made it illegally in here. By the time you catch them, you better send them back, right? They already broke the law. Send them back. Any immigrant breaking the law, send them back. Feel me? And if you are undocumented here in the United States, you already broke the law. You already came in undocumented. You're already in the United States undocumented. So you already started with breaking the law. Now, unless it's something super dangerous, wherever we're going to send you back at, that they're going to kill you right off the rip, we might keep you. Maybe at that point. But see, we wouldn't even have those cases if we had a strong border and people could just come to the front door and explain themselves. Like, I don't understand. What's all this, like, commotion and confusion about how we gonna stop immigration, just stop everybody from coming in, and then you being rude to the immigrants who are documented in the United States. You being super rude to them. You giving them no procedures, no nothing. You leaving them behind while you dealing with 10 million illegal immigrants. Get the fuck out of here. 10 million, 50 million, 20. You just throwing numbers out there, yo. Yo, listen, for every illegal immigrant or every undocumented immigrant you guys know, let me know, and I'll give you $1 for it, yo. I'll give you $1 for every single one of them you know, right? Every single one of them you know. You don't know none of them. None of y'all know none of them, especially the way this guy talks. Goodness gracious, this guy never seen an immigrant in his entire life. You don't even know what they look like. Again, they don't look like anything else. They look just like us, just like me and you. No different. Immigrants are the same. It's the same as me and you. No different. It's just the tradition and the culture they brought up in, right? The values that they have. And that's why it's important to have a strong fence, right? A strong border, and then have everybody come to the front door and verify them. You'll never have that problem again. But you can't do that. Of course not. Because we have to make up lies like 10 million illegal immigrants. Fuck out of here.
Immigrants from China, India, Venezuela, El Salvador, and it's so many with no break for assimilation, and they're all from non-white countries. It's transforming what America is. And again, that's the distinction. That's what makes it unacceptable.
I always believe everybody's a product of their environment.
And again, now he's talking about it's changing white America, right? It's gonna turn it into Hispanic, right? Fuck, like, are you looking at the skin color, bro? Like, is that what it is? Yo, I know hella Puerto Ricans. I know hella Latinos who are hella light, bro. Are you trying to tell me that they're okay with you in your eyes, but the darker ones are not? Like I don't understand what the fuck you saying, yo. Like, what is gonna change here? What are you saying? Like, are you saying that South America, so this is going to become South America up here? Like, I don't understand what you're saying. We have like rooted laws up in here. Like there's a system in America. There's a literal system up in here, right? Yeah, sometimes there's a few little criminals here and there, especially up top and what so forth. But overall, we have a sturdy country. Don't put people in fear like that. Start hating their own. I start hating my black friends, start hating my Hispanic friends because Nick fucking told me that fucking America is turning on white. Like, fuck out of here. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? How the fuck would you know? Like, you a mix yourself, son. Fuck are you talking about? Like, you talking about skin color, bro? That's what's looking different? You don't want a black person in your neighborhood? Not because they street. You don't want them in your neighborhood because they black, right? I don't want to be in the hood, right? The hood would be a street mentality block, a street mentality neighborhood, right? And that's where all the crime usually hangs around at, right? All the criminal activity is usually coming from there or there is happening. But you can't listen, if I was brought up in his neighborhood, I would be a nice guy just like him, right? Like he claims he is. But I bet you if a Nigerian or South African or wherever, Morocco or Libya, wherever, or Syria, wherever, came over here and lived in your neighborhood and brought up around the same community as yours, they will be the same as you. The people are not no different because of race. The people are different because of way of thinking and where they were brought up at. So when you bring street people from South America, they're going to be street. When you bring gang members from South America, they're going to be gang members. The fuck are you talking about? In America, they're going to do the same shit too. They ain't no different. It's the same thing. It's the mentality that needs to change. It needs to start with the children because the children are the ones keeping this alive. This street life alive. They are the ones keeping it rising. They're the ones keeping it going. It's the youth. That's what we not paying attention to. We paying attention to 10 illegal immigrants. I don't know what the fuck those guys are, but our children, they're at home. So get to them ASAP, right? Because you don't want them to be growing up in the street though with that street mentality. That street mentality, I'm telling you, I've been a victim of that. Okay, and you can tell by the way I talk, I've been a victim of that. I've been a big victim of that. I've been a horrible victim of that. But that's because I was so like naive and young, you know, like I'm just trusting like what my elders look like they doing. But now I know. Now when I look back, I'm like, I was such an idiot. I was such an idiot. And that's what I'm saying is the street mentality. It's not a race thing. It's not all black people are criminals or all Hispanics are drug dealers. None of that. I seen some white people do some of the most meanest, cruelest shit you've ever seen in your fucking life. But I don't blame all white people. I don't say Nick does that. I don't say Pierce in England does that. No. Because you're an individual. So if you do something, you don't represent an entire race. Are you crazy? If I do something horrific, I don't represent the United States. Don't ever say I represent the United States when I do something horrific. Say I represent the United States when I do something great. But when I do something horrific, I'm against the United States at that point, right? I'm not with the United States at that point. No way. I wouldn't be doing that to the country I love. No way. And if everybody loved America, which, you know, as much as Nick claims he does, right? And you love your country that much, you would never, ever be so racist towards his people. You would never discriminate towards his people. Its people, I'm talking about. You would never, ever discriminate against them. And obviously, this guy thinks that all black people are just born criminals, you know, like they just have it in their genes, I guess. This guy's crazy. This guy is insane. But hold on, let's go.
I've interviewed thousands of people. I mean, maybe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people from all different walks of life. But the one common theme I would say is everyone's a product of their environment. And I was reading some stuff about you in the last few days. There was an episode of your podcast where you talked about your father, Bill Fuentes, and how he wouldn't take the family, including you, to certain restaurants because he believed they were associated with African Americans. We would be deciding where to go to eat, you said. What are we going to do for dinner tonight? It was a running joke. Me and my sister would say Applebee's, and my dad would say we would never eat at Applebee's. Not in a million years should you be caught dead, Fuentes said about Applebee's. Go to a different restaurant, a local restaurant, no Applebee's, no Red Lobster. That is commonly known as black fare. And you also shared another story about your family and restaurants. So before me and my sister were born, my family had a saying about Olive Garden that contains the N-word that we're not allowed to say. So my question, based on that anecdote that you say on your own podcast, is do you think you grew up in a racist environment, that your father was inherently racist, and that thought process moved to you?
Well, I would say it's a new low. I've been attacked for being a racist many times, but to attack my father, to attack my parents based on anecdotes, I would say that's sort of a new low.
It's your anecdote.
Yeah, but he's not here to defend himself.
You are.
And my parents aren't.
You told the story.
And I will. And
I'm not trying to ambush you. As I said at the start, Nick, to be clear.
No, it's not an ambush.
Nick, to be clear, I'm not ambushing you. I'm literally reading an anecdote that you revealed on your podcast. It's you that's put it in the public domain.
I know.
I'm simply asking you whether my assessment of that, which is that your father didn't want to take you to certain restaurants.
I'm not gonna lie, usually I disagree with Piers a lot, but I think he's right in this one. You know, like I think he's 100% right. Like, you are the product of your environment, first of all, right? So he was definitely right about that. And what he's questioning him on is something that he said, right? And I don't know, I've never heard that before. Olive Garden, really? Olive Garden is pretty, like, it's not the cheapest, right? Like, I'm not saying it's super expensive, but like, it's not the cheapest neither. It's not like, shit, I don't know. Even fast foods are expensive nowadays, right? Everything is super expensive. Inflation, baby. Nah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Like, his dad said that and said that. I don't even know why he would even say that. Like, the fuck you saying that for? Oh, he's not here to defend himself. Then what the fuck would you put him in that? The fuck? Like, you put him out there defenseless. You know what I mean? Like, the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, let's continue. Let's see. I don't know. Whatever this means.
It's a reasonable question.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think everybody knows what that is, but I'll address it. I'll engage with it, and I'll defend my father from the charge of racism.
Sure.
No, my parents are not racist, and they've never been racist. I'll tell you about my parents. They used to have a school in Chicago in the South Loop where they instructed people on how to shoot firearms. It was a security school, and most of the clients were black. And I believe actually one of their clients was Larry Hoover's son at one point, sort of a funny story. And so most of their clients would come in from the south side of Chicago. My grandmother, she grew up in the projects in the city. And so my family, being in Chicago, being ethnics, being Italian, Irish, Mexican, in the West Side, on Taylor Street, all over the city. My family for many generations have lived near and around black people. And look, my views about black people and their views about black people are shaped with experiences with black people.
Yeah.
And what
That's see that right there. That's super discriminative. They know about black people. The black people know about black people. Yeah, they know about black. That's what I was saying, guys. It's not about the skin color. It's about that street mentality. So what he's saying is that regular citizen folks don't like street people neither. Right? It doesn't matter if you're black, Hispanic, or whatever you are. The race does not make you a criminal or outstanding citizen. What the fuck is that, bro? Like, the fuck are you talking about? These African Americans don't want to be around African Americans. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, that's that stupid discriminative shit, right? Where you have, like, where 5 black guys get together and they jump you and you're like, fucking all black people are like that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about now? Like, this guy sounds so freaking dumb. It's like, even black people I know, they know they don't want to be around black people. The fuck? Yo, what did he just say? Hold on, run that back. He's making me mad. I'm not even black, bro. He's making me mad, though.
I'll tell you about my parents. They used to have a school in Chicago in the South Loop where they instructed people on how to shoot firearms. It was a security school, and most of the clients were black. And I believe actually one of their clients was Larry Hoover's son at one point, sort of a funny story. And so most of their clients would come in from the south side of Chicago. My grandmother, she grew up in the projects in the city. And so my family, being in Chicago, being ethnics, being Italian, Irish, Mexican, in the West Side, on Taylor Street, all over the city. My family for many generations have lived near and around black people. And look, my views about black people and their views about black people are shaped with experiences with black people. And what they will tell you, what my parents would say if they were here, is that for many, many years, the older generations of black people were very respectful, very humble, very decent. In fact, my grandma used to have an anecdote. She grew up in a lot of dysfunction. Her mother was mentally ill, and they would be having dinner in the projects, and there'd be so much chaos and dysfunction and disagreement and fighting. And she would look across the way out the window at a black family in the other apartment, and they'd be holding hands around the table saying grace. And this is sort of the culture that used to prevail. But now what you have in the city is that there's no accountability for the black people. And now Chicago has become a complete dump because these teenagers go out and they take over the city. They call them teen takeovers. That's the euphemism for it. They're teenagers, but they all come from the same neighborhood. They drive up there and they mug people and attack people and they destroy cars and destroy shops. We had the Festival of Lights a couple of weeks.
Okay, Nick, if they do that, right? Let's say these kids are coming from South Side or wherever they're coming from, right? Or Chicago, and they coming in there. All these little Chief Keefs are coming in there, right? And they robbing people. They taking over, teen takeover, right? Don't you think, right? Maybe we should go in those neighborhoods and start speaking to those children? Like start seeing like their upbringing and stuff, right? Instead of just going like, oh, these criminals and da-da-da-da. Like, you got to do two things. You either bring the police over there and arrest these young cats, right? Or before they even do that, go talk to them. Go talk to them. Are you scared to talk to them? Are they too aggressive? Do they bite? Is that what it is? That's the problem. People are scared, so people don't want to approach. And then when they come, they're like, oh my God, this country's going to shit. No, you going to shit because you ain't doing shit. That's the problem. Okay, these are our children, okay? We need to go and discipline these children, okay? If their mother and father ain't around, then go help them out. What are you doing? Why are you leaving them in that? You giving them no other choice but to go out there and get it. The fuck you leaving them choice for? If they had options, such as Nick, they would be outstanding citizens. But they don't. You didn't give them shit. You left them in the gutter. And what you expect comes out the gutter. Every single time. It's always that criminal lifestyle. Right? And now it's embedded in the hoods, the projects. Let's just let him finish first. And I'm going to explain to you why this guy ain't it. I'm telling you right now.
It's supposed to be a family event. And they light up the trees and they, there's a big parade. I was in the parade one year and you had a bunch of black people there shooting each other. 7 people shot, a 14-year-old killed in the Magnificent Mile. And I know there's a lot of black people that feel the same way about this. They say, we've lost control of the city and we're looking for accountability. We have a lot of black people that are always...
Yo, but it's crazy because he keeps talking about like these youngsters, like they different people, like they're not Americans. They just these black people. And these black people need to go check those little black people. The fuck, yo? Like, why does he sound like that? Is it just me that's hearing this? Or, like, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I just never heard nobody that talks like him. You know what I mean? Like, nobody around me talks like that. Like, we diverse around where I'm at, right? Like, we talk crazy around these parts, right? But never like him, though. We don't talk like that. We don't talk like even black people. The fuck, even black people. Yo, I have like multiple, like so many black friends. Ain't none of them are the same. None of them. None of the Hispanic friends are the same. None of the white friends are the same. They're all individuals. He's almost saying that it's only the black people's responsibility to take care of this issue, right? With these youngsters going wild and shooting and doing all this gang life, gang stuff, right? So he's saying that even black people, the fuck, even black people? Bro, like, the fuck are you talking about? These are our children, bro. These are our children. These are our American children. I don't give a fuck that you don't like them because they have a different skin color. You a piece of shit, Nick. If you don't respect them because they have a different skin color. You a piece of shit. Recognize that these kids are being poisoned out there with this street mentality, bro. That's what it is. They're being poisoned with a street mentality. And they're out there raising hell. Because they come from the gutter. They have nothing. Nothing at all. Just whatever you give them. Government cheese. That's all they got. They got nothing. Sometimes their parents do drugs. Sometimes family members do drugs. Sometimes they get addicted to drugs. I mean, that street lifestyle, it is dirty. It is dirty. So this man sitting over here talking about like black people are responsible for the black children out there killing each other. Shut the fuck up, son. They our children too. The fuck are you talking about? They in America. They born American. They're American citizen. You should love them the same as you love the white kids. The fuck is wrong with you, man? Fucking talking about them like they're a different breed or something, yo. Fuck you talking about, bro?
We had the Festival of Lights a couple of weeks ago. It's supposed to be a family event. And they light up the trees and they, there's a big parade. I was in the parade one year and you had a bunch of black people there shooting each other. 7 people shot, a 14-year-old killed in the Magnificent Mile. And I know there's a lot of black people that feel the same way about this. They say, we've lost control of the city and we're looking for accountability. We have a lot of black people that are always outraged about racism, outraged about attitudes from white people, but they're never ashamed of some of these behaviors, never ashamed of some of the things that go on. And that's why I think there's a lot of negative attitudes these days. And so, you know, again, I think those attitudes, you say I'm a product of my environment. I am. And so are my parents and my grandparents. Unlike you, because you're not even American, in Chicago, we have to live in a big, diverse city where there's a lot of different kinds of people. And
I live in a big
anybody in
diverse
Chicago
city.
tell you the same.
I live in London. It's one of
Yo, straight up London, bro. I remember my brother went to go visit London, right? I got my sister that lives in London, and he went to go visit over there. My uncle lives up there too, and he went to go visit, and he was like, I fell asleep in the airplane. I woke up, went out the airplane. I thought I was in the wrong place. I thought I was in the Middle East. He was like, I couldn't believe it. He was like, there's no way this is London. It did not look like London at all. So like, for him to be going like, oh, well, you don't know what it's like over here. You don't know. What the fuck you talking? You don't know. It's like UK is getting hella immigrants. You feel me? And they getting immigrants from the war-torn countries, which is kind of like terrible, you know? It's tough. But that was so funny that he tried to go like, oh, well, you don't live in the United States, so you don't know what it's like in Chicago. You don't know what it's like in Chicago. The fuck out of here, Chicago. London is way more diverse than Chicago could ever be in its lifetime. Are you crazy? New York is like London, bro. The fuck are you talking about, bro? They super duper diverse, yo. I can't believe this guy is trying to question Piers Morgan on his diversity in London. He's from London, bro. Yo, you gotta do some more studying, bro. Yeah, I know you think you smart, Nick. You think you smart, right? And you do talk nice, you know what I mean? And you are precise with your wording of things. That is correct. But what you saying, you need to dig a little bit deeper into what you're saying. Because like the way you are separating races. You are separating people by races, right? So like if 5 white people jumped over this curve, now you're saying that all white people jump over that curve. And that type of discriminative type of attitude is just going to separate us in the United States. We need to first look at these young children like they're our children. Because even our children could get caught up in the street life. Are you kidding me, Nick? You trying to tell me that the white kids cannot get caught up in the street life? I seen some white kids in the street life that are the most dangerous, vicious individuals out there. This is not a race thing. This is a mentality. This is a street mentality that is poisoning our children. And we need to stop talking about these children like they're not our children, like they're somebody else's children, like they're this black people's children. And they're not taking no responsibility. They're not even ashamed of what their children are doing. Fuck you talking about, bro? Go help the children. Go help the children. Because as soon as you change their mind state, there will be no more criminal activity moving forward. Because they will become citizens. They will become better citizens. And they will raise better citizens moving forward. But you need to give them that chance, because when you're in the gutter, you don't got no chance out there. They don't get no chance. The first people they meet is drug dealers and killers. That's the first thing they meet. What do you expect them to grow up and do? Engineering? From where? What are you talking about? Come on, man. Anyways, this guy's crazy.
It's one of the biggest and most diverse cities in the world.
But it's not the same.
Well, actually, it's a big diverse city. The only difference is we don't have the gun violence because we don't have guns. That's a whole different story. I don't want to get into that with you. I have got into that before.
You got
America.
a knife problem. You got sword problems.
We have problems with
Aladdin.
We have problems with violent crime. I make no pretense of it. So the idea that somehow I'm cosseted in London because I'm not in
I
Chicago.
didn't say that.
Well, you kind of implied it, but I guess my point about the environment. I'm not saying you are a product of your environment. I'm saying most.
Yo, there's a few times that Nick has said, "No, I didn't say that." You know, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say. But you are saying that. You are saying it, and then you're saying no, I didn't really quite say that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Pierce is kind of checking him a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, you know. And I'm usually never with Pierce, right? I think Nick has a few good points, especially when he's talking about, you know, the whole situation with Israel and putting America first. I like his idea of putting America first. I do understand that. Yes, let's take care of us. That's why I said let's make the border strong. right? Let's have people come to the front door so we can recognize who they are and we can check them right off the rip and then they can move on, right? That is the most important part. It's keeping us safe over here in the United States. America comes first. And I like that Nick thinks America comes first. But his confusion with race is just kind of crazy. I mean, like, he needs to dig in a little bit deeper and really, really think about what he's saying. If I'm black and there's a kid that shoots somebody in your neighborhood, Nick, I am not responsible for that kid because he's black. I live way over here. You live way in Chicago. I am not responsible for him. So when you talking about these black people, they're not even ashamed of it. They're not even ashamed. That's that street mentality, bro. In street mentality, you want to be a thug. The more harm you do, the more of a dangerous guy you are and the more respect you get. And the more you don't tell on your crimes, you can continue doing crimes without being caught. It is so simple. The street life is super duper simple, right? Not that it's simple. Of course, you have to be smart. You have to know people because everybody out there is a scavenger. Everybody out there is just looking to get it, right? So you have to be careful. Obviously, you're around tigers and lions and all types of animals out there. You know what I mean? And sometimes there's no mercy depending on where you at, right? Some places are worse than others. But what I'm saying is still, nevertheless, that street mentality, that poison needs to come out of these children's heads. Right? The children, not the older cats, okay? The older cats who are gangbanging until their 40s, 50s, listen, let them gangbang till they pass out, okay? When they gone, then the new generation won't have that problem. But we need to attack it at the start, which is the children. We need to go check all the teenagers in whatever block they're at. And we need to bring different stuff in there. Bring something for the community. Bring sports. Bring something they can inspire to be. Because when they're out there, all they got is gray clouds and it's just a street life, you know. And the street life don't let you get out. When you in that street life, you don't know nothing else. You know, some kids be on the block for years and never leave that block. Never even know there's a different type of lifestyle. So it's the mentality. It's not a race thing. It's a mentality thing, Nick. It's a mentality thing. And that if you want to change America, if you really want to change that criminal idea, that street life mentality, you need to go to the children and teach them. But you're scared to do that, right? Because they're black. They might bite.
When I read that anecdote, it's just to remind you, it's not something I have put out there. You told this story, right? And you said that
You said this. We're looping. You said this
No,
already.
you haven't really directly, I think, responded to it, which is whether your father would not take you to certain restaurant chains because he associated them with black Americans. Is that true?
No, well, see here, if you're in America, you would say that Olive Garden is not real Italian food. Applebee's, TGI Fridays, this stuff is a load of crap. My dad was just
Yes. And I understand. I understand Nick, and I understand what Pierce is saying, right? I understand both of them. And yes. Okay. All right. The restaurants. Okay. Yeah. The ghetto, right? It's too ghetto, right? Do you want to be in a higher restaurant, in a better restaurant? Well, good for you. Because the youth in Southside Chicago can't do that. They can't even afford McDonald's. Not even a value meal, you know what I mean? And then you wonder why they running up on you and taking your car and taking your wallet and everything you got on you. Fuck you talking about, bro? They starving. And you talking about, no, I'm not going to take this one because, you know, this is too ghetto for me. I'm not gonna go to no Olive Garden. I'm not gonna go to no Applebee's. These are just a bunch of garbage, you know. I go to the high class. Like, not everybody's able to do that, Nick. Not everybody's raised up like just chilling like that. Fuck you talking about? We can't even afford Olive Garden sometimes. You know what I mean? Fuck out of here. Anyways, guys, listen. Let's just let him defend his dad.
stop. But no, it's got nothing to do with that. My best friend in first grade was a black guy. We're not a racist family.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so when you told
no.
the story,
I got a black friend. That's why I'm not racist. Fuck it. Yo, if that is not the most, I don't know, it sounds racist to me. It just sounds so awful. And I feel bad for the black friend you had. I mean, if he even has a black friend, right? He said in the first grade, I had a black friend. So he had to go all the way back. You can't verify him in the first grade. You can verify him in high school, but not in the first grade, right? Like, yo, this guy's a clown, bro. This guy's a clown for that, y'all. Anyways, I'm done with this guy. Listen, guys, I just want to talk about illegal immigration. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Israel and Gaza situation. I wanted to talk a little bit about Trump. I wanted to talk a little bit about race, okay? And I think I touched base with all of that, and that's what I was trying to do. And hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying and where I'm coming from. And I wanted to talk about Nick too, because I don't know, they just make this guy seem like he's just like new greatest sensation, but he's really like just like a little prickster out there, you know what I mean? And I know exactly the type of individual he is. And I know plenty of individuals like him, you know? And I'm not gonna say he's racist, but he's a little bit dumb on the race part, you know? He's a little bit dumb with that part. Because in his mind, he groups people into their races, right? So like obviously he groups them because he doesn't want the white America to change. So and yeah, a lot of people are gonna call him racist though, for sure they're gonna call him racist. But me personally, I don't think he's racist, because I think racism to me, I mean, if you like your race, there's nothing wrong with that. If you love your race, you love, you proud of being black, or you proud of being white, or you proud of being whatever you are, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just when you start looking at others as less of a people, or as less than you are, than your race is, that's, in my opinion, is that dangerous racism. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you love your race, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you can't respect other races, or you can't love other races the same, or can don't want to be around them, or think of them different as your race, that's where I feel like that's the dangerous racism that a lot of people think that Nick is. I don't think he's that, but I just like Nick's America First approach. And anybody who has an America First approach, I'm with you. Okay? America first, baby. And we're going to leave on that note, America first. And please take care of the children. The children are the future. Let's look at the youth, man. I don't care what they are. They could be black, Hispanic, even immigrant youth. As long as you're in the United States, let's help you, because you are our future. When we help you become better citizens, this world will be better in the future. So, guys, the youth is the answer. Not no goddamn Nick. Anyways, guys, I give you my thoughts, and I know for a fact you're going to give me your thoughts on the comments down below. Blow that motherfucker down, yo. Let me know how you feel, yo. Just express yourself. There's a lot to be talked about out here, and I'm about to get super duper real with y'all. Like super duper real with y'all. And I'm not even holding back anymore. I'm not going to talk any other way. I'm going to talk the way I'm going to talk. And yeah, I'm going to let you know what I know. Anyways, guys, I give you my thoughts, and I know for a fact you're going to give me your thoughts on the comments down below. Don't you dare forget to like, subscribe, share, tell everybody about Culture of Excellence. Until next time, be safe.